How would you feel if you discovered that there's a simple step that you could take that would greatly increase your odds at getting a big payout after your car accident? But if you don't take this step, you could lose out on thousands of dollars. So in this video, I'm going to reveal the tactic that you need to do after your car accident, and I'm going to show you an instance where I used this to get a big settlement. To explain, we'll look at my client Jose's recent car accident case. Jose is a hardworking and kind man who was driving through a green light in South Florida. The next thing he knew, another car ran a red light and Jose crashed into them. Although this accident happened at an intersection, the tactic that I'm going to share applies to all types of car and truck accident cases. The airbags in Jose's van deployed. Police came to the scene. Jose told the police officer that he had a green light and the other driver must have run the red. The other driver said that they had a yellow light when Jose hit them. Like many drivers who are hit while driving through a green light, Jose thought that he did nothing wrong. Jose was confident that the other driver was at fault. After the police officer spoke with Jose and the other driver, he handed Jose a form that's called the Driver Exchange of Information. Basically, it lists the cars involved in the crash, the names of the drivers, their insurance companies, and the date, time, and location of the crash. A tow truck towed both vehicles away. Paramedics arrived and took Jose to the hospital. Jose was nervous since he needed a vehicle to drive and he couldn't afford to be stuck with mounting medical bills. So he hired me as his lawyer to protect his rights and fight to get him the best settlement possible. But Jose had 4 big problems. First, his van was quickly racking up storage charges at the tow yard. Second, Jose didn't have collision coverage on his van. Collision coverage on your auto insurance policy pays for damages to your car from an accident, regardless of who is at fault. And if you're thinking to yourself,
I have collision coverage, so this doesn't apply to me,
you're going to find out in a moment why you still need to know the tactic that I'm going to show you if you want to have the best chance at winning your case. Third, since Jose's van was badly damaged, he needed the other driver's insurance company to pay for a rental car until his van either got fixed or they paid him for it. Since Jose didn't have collision coverage on his auto policy, this meant that the only way that he was going to get paid for his van is if we could prove that the other driver was at fault. That's the only way that the other driver's property damage liability coverage will pay for the damage to your vehicle or property. Jose had neck and back pain and he needed medical treatment. He needed to get physically better so that he could get back to work and pay his bills. And of course, Jose wanted to get paid for his pain and suffering since he didn't cause the crash. The driver exchange of information that the police officer gave Jose listed the other driver's insurance company as Geico. So we called Geico and reported the claim to them. We learned that the other driver hadn't even reported the accident to Geico. I assume that the other driver didn't report the accident to Geico for one of 2 reasons. Number 1, the other driver didn't think that they were at fault, or number 2, the other driver was nervous about their insurance rate increasing if they were found at fault for causing the crash. Geico gave us a claim number and they assigned an adjuster to Jose's claim. Geico told us that they were investigating the claim. I assumed that Geico wanted to speak with their insured driver and get her version of how the accident happened. And this is where most people just sit back and anxiously wait for the other driver's insurance company to finish their investigation. Or maybe the other driver's insurance company tells you that they need to speak with a witness or the owner of the car that caused your crash. After an accident, most people make the mistake of letting the other driver's insurance company control your claim's fate. I'll explain more in a bit. The driver exchange of information had the other driver listed as Vehicle 1. Why is this important? It matters because Vehicle 1 is usually the vehicle that the officer thinks is at fault for causing the crash, but not always. And you'll see in a moment why this is such a big deal. You may also be surprised to hear that even if the police officer gives the other driver the ticket for causing the crash, a jury is not allowed to hear this if your case goes to trial. The reason is that the law encourages people to freely speak to police officers after a crash without fear that what they say will be used against them. I used Google Maps and saw that there were video cameras above the traffic lights where the crash happened. We called the police department for the area where the crash happened. We then sent them an email asking them to preserve all video surveillance and photos of the accident. And then the police department sent us an email response. They told us that they have red light cameras that record drivers who run red lights. I was in a good mood. But they only have these cameras at about 5 intersections. And this intersection wasn't one of them. Although this intersection has cameras above the lights, the police department told us that those cameras don't record video or take photos. Those cameras just monitor the flow of traffic. But I didn't give up hope. Near the intersection, there was a store and a strip mall, and there was also a convenience store nearby, and both had surveillance cameras. So we got their phone numbers through Google. You gotta love Google. I was hopeful that after I told those store employees that Jose was hit in a big impact crash, they'd gladly give us the surveillance. After all, those employees would probably be compassionate to someone in Jose's situation with bad neck pain and an undrivable van, right? Wrong. When we spoke with the employees at both stores, they told us that we need to speak with their corporate office. So we sent emails to the corporate offices at both stores requesting that they preserve all video surveillance of the accident. Most car accident victims make the mistake of not requesting the surveillance. The problem is that surveillance disappears fast. Stores delete these videos after a short period of time. And out of the few accident victims who are wise enough to request the surveillance, most don't put the request in writing. You see, once you send a written request to preserve video, the business or person is required to preserve what they have. If they then destroy it, they can be liable to you, even if they had nothing to do with the cause of your accident. I got an email from the corporate department of each of the stores. Surely they'd give us the video showing innocent Jose hitting a driver who ran a red light, right? Nope. Corporate for both stores said that they can't release any video unless the request is made by law enforcement or they get a subpoena or a court order. Some accident victims make the mistake of just stopping here. After all, the emails from corporate look a bit intimidating. But I didn't stop here. I called each of the corporate offices and spoke with the person who sent us the email. And guess what? Both of them were nice. I asked, I almost begged both employees to tell me what each store's surveillance video showed. I'm usually as nice as I can be when I'm asking for something that the employees don't have to give me. And you should be nice too. Kindness can go a long way here. The employee for the store at the strip mall told me that the surveillance didn't record the intersection. I then spoke with the employee of the convenience store. While I was on the phone with him, he told me that he watched the videos. I was in a great mood. Unfortunately, the outside cameras didn't capture the crash, he said. I asked him if the camera at least showed the flow of traffic in each direction. I was asking him this so that we could make an inference that Jose had the green light by looking if cars were moving in Jose's direction of travel. He said that the surveillance didn't show any cars stopped at the intersection, so he said the videos didn't show who was at fault for the crash. After all, most business surveillance is designed to record areas on the store's or mall's property. Their purpose is not to record trafficked intersections, but sometimes store or mall surveillance cameras capture a crash on a public street. Getting this video can be the difference between you not getting paid for your car and being stuck with huge medical bills. Even though the stores wouldn't give me the video, I could sue and send a subpoena and get the videos from the stores. But after speaking with the store employees, I knew that the videos wouldn't show anything that would help Jose's case. We also made an online request for the 911 audio recording from the police department. Most car accident victims fail to do this, and it can cost you big money. In the 911 audio call, the other driver unfortunately didn't admit fault or say how the accident happened, but sometimes they do. So always get that 911 audio call. The driver that hit Jose only had $10,000 in bodily injury liability coverage. That means the most that Geico had to pay was $10,000 for Jose's pain, suffering, and out-of-pocket medical bills. But we'd still need to show that the driver insured by Geico was at fault in order to get compensation from the other driver's bodily injury liability insurance. In this case, I convinced Geico that even if their driver was only 50% at fault, the value of Jose's personal injury case was over $10,000. So we got Geico to pay us the $10,000 bodily injury liability coverage limits. That's all the insurance that the driver had. Unfortunately, Jose didn't have uninsured motorist insurance coverage. That would have paid him for his personal injury claim if it was worth more than Geico's $10,000 limits. We also got Geico to pay for the damage to Jose's vehicle. He was thrilled. Now he can get back to enjoying his life again. In this case, Jose was lucky that we got him money for both his personal injury case and the damage to his car. But many people who are in car accidents aren't so lucky. And it's often because they don't take simple steps like getting the surveillance video that captured the accident or requesting the audio 911 call. Those steps can be the difference between you owing thousands of dollars or hopefully getting paid thousands of dollars. But getting the video surveillance and the 911 audio call are just two of the many steps that you need to take in your car accident case. Without knowing every step that you need to take, you won't have a chance at getting the other driver to pay for your car damage, and getting your medical bills paid. And you won't increase your odds at getting a big payout for your pain and suffering. I found that most people who get in car accidents don't know the steps to take. To find out the steps that you need to take in your car accident case, watch the video that's on screen now or click on the link in the description below. And if you've been seriously injured in a car accident in Florida and someone else is at fault, click on the link in the description below to see if I could be the lawyer for you.